good evening and a warm welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Hishain Ali and let's have a look at the headlines first. Heads of public and private organizations urged to forward lists of employees looking for supplementary festival credit facility. Random rapid antigen tests on those who leave the Western Province commenced. News in detail. Government last Wednesday announced that a supplementary festival credit facility to all interested employees in the public and private sector, Samurdhi beneficiaries and self-employees will be provided in appreciation of their deep compliance to the COVID-19 regulations. Thereby, the Finance Ministry now calls heads of public and private organizations to expeditiously forward lists of people who look forward to receive the new supplementary festival credit facility. Accordingly, this credit facility will be provided through Bank of Ceylon, People's Bank, National Savings Bank and Regional Development Bank at 0.625% monthly interest rate, and repayment will be in 10 monthly installments commencing from the month of January next year. Thereby, employees having a monthly income of 50,000 rupees or more is entitled for a credit facility of 50,000 rupees. Employees having a monthly income above 25,000 but less than 50,000 is entitled for a credit facility of 25,000 rupees. Employees having a monthly income less than 25,000 rupees is entitled for a credit facility of 10,000 rupees. Thus, head of public and private organizations are requested to provide the certified list of employees who are willing to enjoy this facility to nearest branch of the Bank of Ceylon, People's Bank, National Savings Bank and Regional Development Bank depending on their choice. Moreover, the operators of three-wheelers, school vans, private buses who have bank accounts in above-mentioned banks can also request the same facility from their respective banks by producing their national identity card. Those who don't belong to these categories but have accounts at the above-mentioned government bank can also apply for this credit facility, and bank may consider the request depending on their repayment capacity. Presidential Task Force on Economic Revival and Poverty Eradication Chairperson Basil Rajpaksha says despite the predictions from the rival camps against the government, they were capable of settling all due loans during the year 2020. He made these observations during another session of the national program dubbed as a Dialogue with the Village, which was held in Kandy yesterday.
The previous governments have taken the maximum amount of loans that a country could ever take. We had no single hope for new loans. As no one is interested to give loans on concessional rates, we were in trouble. But we had to settle all due loans during the year. Then the export sector was the only revenue maker. In April, the export revenue was also dropped to $2,200 million. But we were capable of energizing private sector with the assistance of public sector. But in the months of September and October, we passed the mark of $1 billion from exports. That was the only area we had satisfactory results in 2020. Most said that we would prove a bankrupt regime and won't be able to settle the loans. But we proudly announced that as a country, we settle all due premiums on due dates.
Government takes measures to mitigate the landslides risks at the Ratnapura district with the assistance of the Asian Infrastructure Development Bank. Accordingly, two major projects were kicked off yesterday at Aigama and Galabad areas in the district. A slope failure took place in 2017 had detached the Aigama town into two, making the life difficult for regional community. The people in the area were evacuated and housed at the Sri Lanka Gangaramaya temple in Aigama town. A large chunk of soil and rock pieces had collapsed while spreading debris onto the road, and the devastation had also obstructed its passage for commuters during the period of Hassad. Defence Secretary Major General Kamal Gunaratne, in his capacity as the Internal Security, Home Affairs and Disaster Management State Ministry Secretary, personally visited the areas and gave instructions to the officers to expedite the all development projects in the area. Defence Secretary Gunaratne, who arrived at the Aigama landslide-prone area, assured the mitigation of landslide hazards for folks under the landslide threat and participated at a simple function to mark the inauguration of the 418 million rupee project mooted to mitigate the landslide risk in the area. Further, another 442 million rupees has been allocated for a road network development project in Galabada, and it covers an area of 12 kilometers in the Ratnapura district. The project also includes soil nailing, horizontal drains, cut-off drain, cascading drain, cross drain, catch pit, reshaping turf and debris removal. Stay tuned for more news right after this commercial break. Welcome back after the break. Random rapid antigen tests conducted on some who tried to leave the West Province have already proven useful, as some positive cases were identified. Meanwhile, country's COVID-19 recoveries have now crossed the mark 27,000. Thereby, health officials will be deployed in Itumbur along the Colombo-Kandy Road, Salawa, Koskama along the Ratnapura-Colombo Road, Berula in Colombo and Mathura route, and in Nigambo along the Colombo-Chilla Road. All other exit points of the Western Province will also be manned by health officers, Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavindra Silva added. Thus, this procedure will be in place until further notice to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 into other provinces, as the Western Province is the hotbed for the virus. Thus, over 35,000 COVID-19 cases have been identified in Sri Lanka to date, with 650 persons testing positive for the virus yesterday. As 708 more COVID-19 infected patients have discharged after a full recovery, the country's COVID-19 recovery tally went up to 27,061. Moreover, the World Health Organization Country Office for Sri Lanka, with financial support worth 2 million euros from the European Union, will help improve emergency response capacities in Sri Lanka to mitigate the impact of COVID-19. The support will focus on several key areas, including enhancing the effectiveness of COVID-19 case management as well as preventing infection. Investment management institution First Capital Holdings stresses that the stock market saw heavy selling pressure from the banking sector in the past week.
For this week, we saw the market having the roller coaster ride, because market went to the resistance of 6,670, and market it's moving into the one day is a positive and one day is negative. The reason is actually market is finding a way and for to see the market what's going on. And then for the turnover wise, we saw a very high turnovers due to the deals in the brown investment. Brown investment rallied the market for 2 consecutive days on the turnover, more than 50% of the turnover. On the blue chip side, and we saw a heavy selling pressure on the banking counters, which increased in the last week, and we saw some selling pressure on the banking sector, especially commercial HNB and Sampath Bank. And for the John Keels also, we are seeing some sort of selling pressure, and we feel the market past the foreign selling for this week, more than 50 billion for the Y2D, and for that giving a signal foreigners are still on the sideline, and foreign participation also for this week we saw very minimal.
Moreover, bringing the forecast for the coming week, First Capital Holdings added that there will be a stagnant outlook in the market given the festive season.
We are getting into the year end and then the festive season. We might see some sort of profit taking in a selective counter, which drastically price moved, and plus people might see want to take a profit realized before the new year start. And we might see the local selling mainly centered on the banking counters and the retail favorite counters such as brown investment and all. We might see some sort of selling pressure to realize the profit for this year, to book a profit, and we might see the slow momentum in the market turnover and here, there and there. But some stocks in the retail activities can push up the turnover more than 2 billion, because last 6 months we are seeing average turnover of 2 to 2.5 billion per day, and for that will be can come back to the 1 billion mark in the near future due to the festive season. And foreign side, we are not seeing a much foreign selling on the side, but we might see some sort of asset allocation or shifting in the those assets. We might see some sort of foreign selling in selective counters, and for finally we feel the market is going to be a very dull sentiment for next couple of weeks.
Let's look at a few more stories for the day in brief. The central bank yesterday officially announced that the assistant governors of the central bank, TMJYP Fernando and NWGRD Nanayakara, have been promoted to the post of deputy governor of the central bank with effect from 14 December 2020. TMJYP Fernando has over 30 years of service in the central bank in the areas of supervision and regulation of banks, foreign exchange management and currency management. Prior to the appointment as a deputy governor, Fernando held the position of assistant governor and was in charge of the departments of bank supervision, currency, foreign exchange and employees' provident fund. Moreover, NWGRD Nanayakara has over 27 years of experience in the central bank, especially in the areas of supervision and regulation of banks, foreign reserves management and international operations, domestic operations, macroprudential surveillance and public debt management. Prior to the appointment as Deputy Governor, Nanayakara held the position of the Assistant Governor in charge of Public Debt, Regional Development, Financial Consumer Relations and Staff Services Management Departments of the Central Bank. Sri Lanka has been endorsed as the Vice Chair of the Indian Ocean RIM Association Council of Ministers from 2021 to 2023 and will take over the chairmanship from 2023 to 2025. Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, leading the Sri Lanka delegation, thanked all member states for placing their confidence in Sri Lanka when its application for the position of Vice Chair was endorsed at 20th Council of Ministers meeting virtually hosted by the United Arab Emirates yesterday. Sri Lanka is expected to host the Blue Economy Conference in the second half of 2021 and also undertake a study on identifying bottlenecks to maritime trade in the IORA region. SDB Bank's latest concluded rights issue has managed to raise a substantial 1.5 billion rupees even amidst the pandemic. Apart from the bank creating capital market history by becoming the first Colombo Stock Exchange listed entity to successfully host and complete a rights issue digitally, the event was officially recognized as the first local digital share subscription to be oversubscribed. In early November, the bank informed their shareholders of a decision to facilitate the application of their rights entitlement plus additional shares entirely digitally in coordination with the Colombo Stock Exchange. Stay tuned for stock updates. Welcome back after the break. The trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all-share price index dropped 7.20 points to close at 6,616.95 and the S&P SL20 dropped 10.06 points to close at 2,572.95. Turnover was 1.7 billion rupees and over 116 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. And with that, we'll be winding up for today. See you on Sunday with Best Roundup at 6:30 p.m. Until then, take care and good night.